Hey guys, hope you're well. And in this video, I'm going to be talking a lot about the concept living in the end. I'm going to be covering a lot of basic questions that people ask. Questions like what is living in the end? Why is living in the end important? Difference between living in the end and living as if. And this one question that gets asked a lot is that if I am in communication, if I am in no communication with my SP, but I'm living in the end of having it, how would I be actually like? Shall I be communicating with them? Shall I not be communicating with them? If I have no money right now, but I'm manifesting money, in my end result, I have that money. So shall I be spending the money that I have right now, or shall I not be? So let's get into it. Let's understand this topic in detail and watch this video till the end. This will be life changing for you. So let's first understand what living in the end means. I think that there are many different schools of manifestation out there, where some people talk about it in terms of law of attraction, some people say law of assumption, some people follow some teachers, some people follow Neville Goddard, some people follow Joseph Murphy, some people, like, there are different teachers with different schools of teaching, right? But the one thing that you will see that all teachers would always agree on is the feeling and the concept that to want something, you have to live from the state of having it, right? That if you want something, assume that you have it, or live as if you have it, or grab the feeling of the version of you who has it. Now, that is what living in the end means. Living in the end means basically embodying the state of the person who has what you want. Now, this just doesn't mean your mindset. This means your perceptions. This means your way of handling situations. This basically means you're changing the lens through which you view the world. You are now viewing the world from the lens of a person who has the things that you want. You are seeing the actions how they would see. You are creating boundaries how they would create. You are talking about situations in your mind the way that they would. That's what basically an embodiment of living in the end means. And I think that it is very important to understand that living in the end is the only prerequisite to get what you want. If you are living in the end properly, then getting what you want is basically what manifestation means, right? Now, the whole processes that we do, the inner child work that we do, the techniques that we do, all of that is for the sole purpose to achieve that state, the state of having it. So all of the things that we do is done from the purpose of trying to achieve the state of someone who has it. That's the whole purpose of doing these techniques. Now, why is living in the end important? Because I think based on your own experiences, you will see, based on my experiences, based on the experiences of my clients, based on what I have learned from experiences of other coaches, other people, if you are living in the end and practicing that correctly, you will have a greater chance of receiving your manifestations, and you will make it improbable for you to not receive them. So this is where people, when they talk about your manifestations are a promise, this is where the concept comes into place, that manifestations are a promise if you are living in the end correctly. That's the only prerequisite. I think Neville Goddard is one person who talked about and who coined it as the term living in the end. And I think that different people use different terms. I think people who usually follow more of the law of attraction side of the community talk more about it from living as if, or having it, like things like that. And people who follow Neville Goddard, they use the term living in the end. So it's just the term, the feeling and the mindset behind it is the same. So now let's understand a few things about living in the end, how we can achieve that state and how it feels. So I talked about this in one of my previous videos on how living in the end feels. So I'm going to give that example here again. Imagine if I were to tell you that 3 months, 20 days and 1 hour from now, you will receive your manifestation. I am telling this to you in advance, and I can guarantee that this will happen. Like, I can give you a guarantee that this will happen, or else like you can take everything from me and or whatever it is. Like, let's say I'm giving you that guarantee, right? Once I give you that guarantee, now how are you feeling? Let's say you're manifesting a specific person. Do you have the need to stalk them? Do you have the need to see what they're up to? Do you have the need to worry about no contact? Are you worrying if they will text you or not? Are you worrying if they will call you or not? Are you overly anxious of what they are doing? Who are they doing it with? Should I affirm more? Should I visualize more? No. You are in this confirmed state where you now have the security that I will get what I want, and now I'm going to spend my time doing other things that I like and not spend my time worrying about this, because this is done. Karan has given me a guarantee, right? Now, that state is what living in the end is. It's just that you don't have the guarantee of the when, which I just gave you. But when I just quantified it for you and gave it to you in a different way, you started assuming and you started practicing that feeling of living in the end automatically. That sense of relief you just felt is how living in the end feels, right? But over a prolonged period of time, it just starts feeling normal. It's not something that you have to be in a space where you consistently try to get it, try to not get it. That's what it is. Now let's understand what the difference is between living in the end and living as if. So living as if is a concept where this is talked about in the book The Secret, and in here the concept basically says is that if you're manifesting something, then you live as if you have it. And this is where a lot of confusion can arise, because I don't fully agree with this concept. This can be helpful but not always, and I don't ever want to use terms where I use and explain something to you where I'm pretty sure that it is situation to situation based. So if you will see that when I talk about working on yourself, working on all these things, it's something that will apply in all situations, right? We never have to, and we shouldn't ever, as coaches, it's our responsibility to not generalize things which cannot be generalized. So if I generalize the concept of living as if, it can be taken in a very wrong way. So this basically means is that if you are trying to manifest money, then spend all the money that you have, because you are living as if someone who has it, so you basically will get more of it. Or if you're trying to get a person in your life, then you can like sleep on one side of the bed, create space in your cupboard and everything. Now living as if is a thing and an activity that a lot of people do, and a lot of people have gotten results from. Do you know why people get results from living as if? It's because once they are living as if, it is providing the feeling of living in the end to them. You know why there are a lot of people who don't get things that they want while living as if? It's because living as if is only making them feel more desperate and only making them feel that I don't have it. So it can be viewed two different ways. Let's say I have $100 to my name, right? That's all that I have. And let's say I spend that $100. Now I'm not feeling empowered. I'm feeling poor. I don't feel I have money. I don't know where my next meal is going to come from. It is not making me excited. I just did it for the sake of it. That is actually going to take me in a negative effect. So the whole purpose of living as if is to achieve living in the end. And if living as if is not achieving living in the end, then there is no point to do it. There are many situations while doing it is only going to make you feel that I am living in the end. So for example, if I am in this situation, the next time I'm buying groceries, I might not complain about how big the bill is, because I'm living in the end and I'm living as if someone who has it. Or I might not check the price tag of this small thing that I want to buy. So you have to understand how living as if is making me feel. Is living as if making me feel confident? Is it making me feel like I have it? Or is it only reinforcing the fact that I don't? That will be the distinguishing factor if you should do it or not. Coming to the next part, what are the techniques that I can use to live in the end? There are many techniques that you can use to live in the end. I think I also made a video on this very recently, so you can check it out. I will link it down below. But when we talk about techniques, you can use affirmations, you can use visualization, you can use scripting. It's important to understand you don't have to be super elaborative with the techniques. Any technique is just a means to an end. All techniques are just leading you to the same place. Neville Goddard talks about imagination. I think people confuse imagination with visualization. Visualization is just one aspect of imagination. The way that you speak, the way that you think, the way that you talk, affirmations, scripting, all of that is imagination, right? You're basically imagining something in a different way. You can use any technique that gets you there as long as it is making you feel like you have it. What is more important is that you are doing it from the techniques from a place of power, not from a space of desperation. The more you do it from desperation, you are only going to get more desperate. Not only does it decrease your chance of receiving what you want, it increases the chance that after you receive what you want, you will still remain desperate, which is what we are trying to avoid. Now, coming to the big question that people ask, if I have my SP, would I be talking to them? And if I'm living in the end, I should be texting them. So first you have to understand that you are living in a world, in the physical world, and then in your mind you are living as if a particular version of you, right? Now, what we try to embody is the actions that this person is doing. In a lot of situations, that would be helpful. I will give you an example. If I am, for example, wanting to be a world class athlete, then my living in the end, I can actually mimic the actions that the other athlete would have. I can have their workout regimen, I can have a routine like that, I can have a workout regimen that way. But if I'm living in the end of manifesting a specific person, and let's say I'm in a no contact situation and I just text him, darling, what will you eat for dinner? Because I'm living in the end in my mind, I will just be called crazy. I don't have to do that. You have to understand that that version of you who has it, in fact, is not actually worried about if I should text this person or not. Understand this. This is super crucial. I was talking about this with one of my clients very recently, where he said that, I am living in the end of having a relationship with this girl, but we are in a slow contact situation. Like, we are in contact, we have just recently started talking, but it's not to the level that I want. And there are only 1 or 2 line messages, and I want it to be in a place like where she texts me back. So even if I'm living in the end, why is she not texting me back? Shall I text her back 2, 3 times and everything? My response to him was that if you are actually living in the end, that means that you have utter confidence in your abilities to get this girl to like you, and that you have utter belief in your ability that this will happen, or that it is done, or that I feel powerful enough to know that I don't have to do anything for it. Now, that version of me doesn't actually worry about text messages. That version of me is actually free from the concept of trying to manipulate a situation, because I already have the surety that it will happen. That version of me just views this person as a person, not some pedestalized figure that I have made of her in my mind. In fact, that version of me is least worried about text messages, calls, and everything, because I know what my end is, and I don't feel the need to take validation from these short things. That's what living in the end is in this situation. So make your goal that detachment, that powerful feeling, that knowing that I can, I will, or I have what I want. Don't make your goal on how can I get this person to like me, because in itself that goal comes out of a place where it can lead you into desperation. I'm not saying don't manifest things that you want, or you cannot manifest a specific person. I'm saying the place that it comes from should be a win-win situation. You should have the person and also the confidence and the peace that comes with being in a relationship. I don't want that you get into a relationship but you're still anxious because you were not working on yourself from that capacity. So I hope this video helps you. I will see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and share if you like the video. The link for my one-on-one coaching, my self-help courses, and my free newsletter are in the description box below.